Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Sophia Wardell, and today we have a very special guest, young adult and children's author, Erin Mackey. Erin Mackey is the author of various children's genres, including picture books, early readers, chapter books, middle grade fiction, and young adult fiction. Thanks for joining us today, Erin.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, sure. And today I want to talk about writing topics and publishing with you. So, what would you say inspires you to write across such a wide range of children's genres, from picture books to middle grade and young adult fiction?
It's really the story ideas themselves that kind of dictate what genre it would be in, what level it
Mm.
falls at. Um, I've gotten inspiration from many different things, from dreams I've had or things I've seen, like when I'm out playing with my nieces and nephew when they were younger. From I have a middle grade book that I had an inspiration from a commercial on TV. So I really have inspiration from lots of different areas. And then I just try to see what that story would be appropriate for, what age range it would fall into.
I like that. So, inspiration everywhere and kind of figuring out who would relate or enjoy that story. And
Yes.
how would you say that you approach different writing styles required for picture books versus young adult fiction?
I have a couple different templates that I've created for, say, outlines or story points. And for picture books, I don't do an actual outline. I do more story points or actual lines that I want in the book itself and organize it that way, compared to any of my fiction works where I have a template that I do an actual outline going by like chapter and fill in what I want to cover in each chapter for the book.
Interesting. And with your publishing journey, have you noticed any differences in the process for these different genres?
No, I'm self-published for 8 books at this point, and it's been very, very similar. The only difference would be cost,
Mm.
because picture books being hardcover and being full color cost more to produce. So the formatting and layout is a little more pricey. You have the cost of the illustrations, and then you also have a higher cost when you're buying your inventory.
That's interesting. I would have thought the opposite, but once you logically think about it,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And so it does not go by word count.
No, no, unfortunately. I mean, they do have
Unfortunately.
different prices for, say, fiction when I'm doing paperback, depending on how many pages it is, but I think it's a very minimal difference between them.
And in that regard, what do you find yourself selling more of? Do you sell more hard copy or do you sell more paper copy?
I only do hardcover for my picture books. I do sell a lot of my most recent picture book, Snowflake's Big Adventure. The illustrations turned out beautiful. My illustrator is wonderful, Kathleen Jones. She does a phenomenal job. So that one is a very popular book. And then I have a paperback series that's for middle grade, where there's 4 books in the series, and they do well as a set. I will have multiple purchases where they'll either buy all 4 books or a couple of the books as gifts. So it just kind of depends on what, the audience is looking for at that time.
And I can see children liking a hardcover book and then a little bit older kids typically liking to bend the pages and read it on the school bus and shove it in the backpack.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they last longer with hardback for the younger ones.
Hmm.
So they don't get the pages, they still have the chance of getting torn, but the cover protects them a little better when it's a hardcover. So
Right. And are there specific themes or messages that you aim to convey through children's books?
there's a couple in my middle grade series. The main themes are friendship, God's love, and overcoming challenges. They also deal with bullying in that series. So it's, very helpful for that age range or a little below to see how it is to navigate some of those challenges as that we have as we're growing up. The picture books are more fun and whimsical. They may have a theme about like fitting in or being, being unique and it's being okay. But for the most part, they're just more fun loving.
And how do you take concepts that aren't necessarily too difficult for the younger children to grasp, but could possibly be, and translate that into your books? Or what advice would you have for authors that are, trying to take these concepts and make them understandable to children?
I think that you just have to know your audience pretty well. For a picture book, you're going up until probably around 5 or 6 years old when they're beginning to read because they're very simple. You have fewer words on the pages. So you want to have themes that they can grasp and aren't out of their comfort zone for
Mhm.
understanding. And then same thing with like young adult. You want to have a differentiation between middle grade and young adult where there's maybe some stronger themes that a middle grade it really wouldn't be appropriate for. So
Right.
you just have to watch the audience that you're gearing the story to and make sure that it's appropriate in that way.
Have you faced any challenges when writing for a younger audience?
Yes, I write a lot of middle grade, but I've written a few young adult as well. And my most recent young adult that I had finished was a mystery crime young adult. And I was part of a critique group, and someone had picked it up to read it for me. And it was a very polite response. She did a good job outlining things, but it was hard to hear because she said that she read that more as middle grade characters and she never would have pictured them in high school. So I guess because I've written so much middle grade, I sound like that more often. So I actually set that manuscript aside and printed out the outline and started fresh and rewrote the entire book because it wasn't possible to make those kind of changes in the manuscript that I had already written.
That's interesting. Do you have any closing advice for authors that may go through the same issues and want to kind of overcome them? Should they just depend on their group of feedback, or should they wait on a manuscript and look back at it later, or any advice?
Um, the main advice would be just not to let it get you down. I know that a lot of authors suffer with what they call imposter syndrome, where
Mm.
you don't feel your work is good enough, or, and it's easy for that to become the focus when you have negative reactions to it. But that doesn't mean that everybody wouldn't like that story.
Right.
So you have to take it with a grain of salt and try not to let it derail you from moving forward with other projects or with changing that project if you feel that it does need the changes.
Well, Erin, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on writing topics and publishing.
Thank you.
Lastly, where can our listeners find and connect with you?
I have a website that is www.erinmackeyauthor.com, and I'm also on LinkedIn as Erin Mackey, Facebook and Instagram as Erin Mackey Author, X, formerly Twitter, as @Erin Mackey Books, and TikTok at Erin Mackey 7. And most of not TikTok isn't on my website, but all the others, there are icons that you can click to go to the various social media.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with young adult and children's author, Erin Mackey. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.